Janine, tell me about your hesitancy. What's it based on?
I had COVID in February, so I have natural immunity. There's no reason for me to get the vaccine. There's no reason for me to take the vaccine doses from vulnerable people in this country or in other countries who need it more than I do.
You just don't know how long your natural immunity will last. We
don't know how long the immunity from the vaccine lasts. This is taken on a religious mentality, in my opinion, on the progressive liberal side of the spectrum.
Give me a vaccine appointment. Don't you know I've waited patiently for this day? Give me a vaccine appointment. I can't wait till I can throw this face mask away.
You're not special. I just come to the mall. I don't need a person like you being beside me without a mask.
Well, you might want to talk to the security. You might want to talk to the security.
This lady here is in the mall without a mask. Yep, got you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have a mask on.
Who are you?
I've just come to the mall to pick up something.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And you are
What is your name?
threat.
What is your name?
You're a threat.
What is
Get
your
out
name?
of the mall. She can't wear a mask. It is my business. He's right here. No, it's not leaving. Put your mask on.
Has this experience with COVID changed your politics?
Yes, it's changed my politics. Now I'll vote for anybody who cares about civil liberties and who doesn't allow the trampling of our rights that we've seen over the past year.
We're gonna get it soon, and then we can play. Yay! I'm so excited. We will get to play together when it's done. The shot. We will get to play together when it's done. The shot.
Now, you know, this state still has a little bit of way to go. Only 3 in 10 Tennesseans are vaccinated. And, well, you're booing yourselves.
Number one, you didn't answer whether or not you've been vaccinated.
Well, first of all, it's none of your business, but I'm going to tell you. I'm not vaccinated. And until there's some science, by the way, I have a master's of science degree from MIT. I'm not a virologist, but I can read data. Everybody just needs to read. And don't put your head in the sand. Look at the data. I'm not going to get the vaccine until there's data that shows that it will improve upon the immunity that's been conferred to me as a result of a natural infection that I had.
Why would I be given a ticket as an independent journalist covering the news?
Right now, you have to wear masks inside stores. Just like
no, you don't. Have you? No. Are you aware of Ministerial Order M425?
Okay. Do you have a piece of ID?
No, sir.
Okay. You have to ID yourself because I'm going to write your ticket.
No, I don't.
You're going to be under arrest for obstruction.
I do not need to ID myself.
I'll give you the last warning.
Under what law?
Okay, I'm in the court.
First of all, why are you coming after me? He was the one who was trying to buy a drink. I'm independent media.
I know.
So you're coming after media instead of the guy who's trying to buy a drink? Why are you coming after media? Freedom of the press is important for Canada, buddy.
I know, but
you're infringing upon that.
So this is your last warning.
What, are you going to touch me now?
I'm going to arrest you for obstruction unless you give me your ID.
You're going to arrest me for being independent media?
For obstruction.
Because I'm the guy with the camera.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We haven't even... We haven't even... Hey! This is way overkill. Get on the camera. Get on the camera. This is ridiculous. Record everything.
There's no reason for this, sir. He has not been violent at all.
Any chance I could ask for your thoughts on the protesters?
I think they can go fuck themselves.
They're mad that they need to get vaccinated to go into the concert. I spoke to one fan who's protesting who was upset about that. How would you respond?
They're sitting here saying free choice. It's our choice to get a vaccine and see the concert.
Absolutely. I know in New York City we've removed the mask mandate. MSG is one of the only places requiring the vaccine cards. Do you guys want to see more places have that?
Yes.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence. I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible. And do everything in my power to educate my community.
So apparently some adults thought it would be a great idea to crowdfund a book for children about what an abortion is. And as you can see here, apparently it's made for infants and toddlers.
Some people have an abortion. An abortion is when someone decides to stop growing their pregnancy.
You mean a baby?
There are many different ways that people who are pregnant can have an abortion.
Regardless of where you stand on pro-life or pro-choice, I'm not here to debate that. Personally, I am pro-life. Why on earth are we teaching this to small children?
So this person might not feel like a girl or a boy. So their pronouns would be them and they, right? And so when we're talking about them, we could say they really like mac and cheese. What if this person didn't feel like a he? What if that person felt like a she?
Yeah.
Then we would use what pronouns?
Girl.
You would use pronouns that make you feel like a girl?
Uh-huh.
And what are those pronouns? Do you remember?
She.
And?
Her.
That's right.
Using our new Barbie's Creatable World doll to talk a little bit about pronouns with my 4-year-old son.
Okay, so let's get the wig out.
Alright, and what pronoun is this dolly going to use? Is this going to be a he, a she, or a they?
They.
They're going to go by they? Alright, let's find some clothes for them.
This is what's bullshit. Today is the first time our country has recognized Juneteenth. It's a national holiday, and yet I'm getting ready to go back to school in the fall, and my governor has put into place some ridiculous legislation that many governors across the country have put into place, such as I can't teach anything divisive, I can't teach critical race theory, and I can't teach about racial equity. This is at all public schools, colleges, and universities. So, teachers, in the past, we've been activists. After the shit show of last year, we really need to stand up and do what's right for our kids right now. So, this is a call to action, teachers. We gotta stand up and fight for our kids because this is bullshit.
The other day I was walking down the hallway at Lakeview Elementary School to give a teacher a retiring gift. I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster. In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I was told 2 weeks ago at this very meeting spot, no politics in school. I believed what you said at this meeting. So at lunch I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. He said it's not coming down. I was like, yeah, it is, because the school board said on May 25th, no BLM or politics in school. He said, that's weird. They were the ones who made them. I was stunned. When I was here 2 weeks ago, you told us to report any BLM in our schools. Apparently, they're in our schools because you made the signs.
So this comment right here is asking me to explain why not wanting critical race theory in the classroom is racist. Thank you for asking me this question. I'd love to explain it. So critical race theory talks about how the systems that we have, the laws that we have, how all of those are designed to oppress people groups. Things like mass incarceration, the prison industrial system, the military industrial system, all of those are used to oppress people groups. By teaching this in the classroom, we can show our kids what systems need to be challenged and thought about differently. Racism isn't going to be fixed by me going down to a kid right here and saying, hey buddy, you really need to be nicer to that kid over there, even though they look a little bit different than you. We can dismantle racism by dismantling systems of oppression, not by being nice to people. When you don't want to teach future generations about how these systems were designed to oppress people, you're taking the side of the oppressor and being racist.
Culture question, so there's one less problematic white person in the world. Hey, Jess.
Yes.
Hey, girl. Do you ever microaggress me?
I sure do.
What happens after you microaggress me?
You let me know,
Mhm.
and I apologize,
Mhm.
and tell you that I will try to do better next time.
Are you afraid of me?
No.
Are you offended?
No, I'm grateful that you value our friendship enough to even say something with me, because to even say something to me, because you don't have to do that. And so I'm grateful that you did.
Be open to feedback. It's how we change the world. So here's one that happened between Jess and I. Last year you texted me saying what?
I had run into one of the preteens classmates at the grocery store, and it was the beginning of COVID and everybody was wearing a mask, and I didn't recognize her. And I said something to the effect of like, I don't know who this grown woman is talking to me.
Right. And so the problem with that is we age and sexualize Black children all the time. Black children often get shot by the police, and you can read the reports for yourself that we age Black children about 5 to 8 years. And so a child who is literally 12 gets aged to 18 all the time. Therefore, they said a Black man is running down the street. And so I had to point that out to Jess, that she just aged a child who was literally, what, 10?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's another microaggression that hit me hard.
So this morning, the baby woke up and had some sort of violence in her heart. I don't know what it was, but she has been losing her mind all day. And it's interesting because I'm watching her lose her mind, and then I'm watching the preteen respond to that by trying to make her happy. And I have had to actively tell him, stop trying to make her feel better. Stop responding to her tears. It's so interesting to see the conditioning of people responding to white girl tears happening so early. She's 5, and she's got an 11-year-old coming after her trying to make her feel better when she cries. We have to unlearn this whole business that white women crying is going to get them what they want in life, because that ain't it.
What is the most important issue your generation is facing today, and why?
Our generation is experiencing an epidemic of censorship and entitlement. And it's because our professors and our celebrities are teaching students to be narcissists, to believe that any view that differs from their own is an existential threat. And this is what I experienced on my own campus with censorship, to the point where people believe that speech is violence so that they can threaten other people with violence simply because they disagree with them.
The problem that I have is that you've really spread 4, I think, key false pieces of information about critical race theory. Okay. You've claimed in recent weeks that critical race theory isn't being taught in schools. Mm-hmm. You've claimed that most American public school students learn what you call Confederate race theory and are taught that slavery was, quote, not so bad. You've claimed that state legislation will prevent schools from teaching about the history of racism. And finally, you've claimed that critical race theory isn't rooted in the philosophical tradition of Marxism. And I think that all 4 of those claims are wrong.
Oh, actually, I'm gender fluid. Oh, okay. Wait, what does gender fluid mean again? Gender fluid means my gender changes depending on the day or week, or even depending on the hour. It also means the pronouns I'm comfortable with can change too. Oh, so how do I know what pronouns to use for you and other gender fluid people? We all express them differently, but personally I express them through color-coded bracelets.
Breastfeeding is just inclusive. There are non-binary people. There are trans men who lactate. There are those who go by he, him, different pronouns. It's just inclusive to everybody. It is not hurting cis women to say chest feeding, but it does hurt those who go by other pronouns to continue to say breastfeeding, especially if they have body dysmorphia.
I'm going to quote to you, solicitor. I'm quoting, just a minute, do not talk over me. This is my comment, not your comment. I'm quoting to you now from the United States Supreme Court 1964 case, New York Times versus Sullivan. This is constitutional case law in this country, and I'm quoting you from the US Supreme Court. The judges wrote that this nation is founded on the, quote, profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues shall be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. That's constitutional case law in this nation. I don't have to be nice to you. Nobody behind me has to be nice to you. If you don't like living in the United States of America, then you can all move to Russia, Cuba, or China. This is the First Amendment. And I will caution you, solicitor. There is a video camera to my left. If you edit this tape, then you're going to have a big legal problem on your hands, because my right to critique your fascism, which is what this is constitutionally protected. There are emails, public record emails, in which the Director of Equity is lobbying and advocating for public comment to be censored in this school district. And you know what? You know what? Lobbying for it, advocating for it. We've got the school board president saying she'll do better at hitting the mute button in blatant violation of the Constitution for her lobbying and her advocacy of unconstitutional censorship. I want you, the school board, to terminate the employment of Dr. Charissa Gibson with immediate effect.
I'm gonna put my gun down when they pull up. I'm gonna put it down. Yeah, man, he thought he was gonna jump in my car and pull out. And it's a stick. Can you even drive a stick? Ma'am, the officers are on the scene. The officers are on the scene now.
But where the grits? Where is the grits? The grits!
We ain't got no more grits.
Bruh, I need some grits and I need it now. Where's the grits?
No, relax.
Now. No, I ain't no relax. I don't want no oatmeal. I want some grits. Where the grits, bro? I will tear this whole shit up. Find me some grits.
And it is important that we train and we understand, and I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that.
Don't throw me in the scandal, bro.
Come on.
Don't disrespect me. I will your ass too. Don't throw me in the scandal, bro. Fuck wrong with you? Don't throw me in the scandal, bro. Don't throw me in the scandal.
Hey, nah, don't shoot her. No, don't shoot. Don't shoot her.
Chill up.
Chill up. All right, chill up.
Chill up.
All right, chill out, chill out.
Chill out.
Chill out, bro. Chill out.
Oh, man. That nigga got a pistol, fam. He got a pistol. That's the only reason I ain't went back there yet. I know. I'm going to get him when he come out. He got that gun right there, fam. Look.
Lauren Boebert, stay inside. Fascists run, fascists hide. Lauren Boebert, stay inside. Fascists run, fascists hide. Lauren Boebert, stay inside.
Not here. Back your ass up. Back inside, loser. Back inside, loser. Back inside, losers. Back inside, loser. Back inside, loser. Back inside, loser. Back inside. You're a great talker. What the fuck is that? A fucking rap? You motherfucker. Hey, don't put his hand. Go inside. Go inside. Go inside. Move. You guys continue on.
It's awful hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. Why? They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported.
And since you're now heading home, can I just ask you briefly about two domestic issues?
I'm not sure I can answer them, but Police Chief Murray of the Baltimore Police Chief Murphy, Paul of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, you know, and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there are never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it. I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential. I wrote the bill on the environment. Pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening?
Listen, everybody knows that in Georgia, Fulton County is sort of the black sheep of the voting family. It's had lots of problems over the years where tallies are not right, votes are missing, employees are problematic, and so it's always had an eye on. There's always been, but in this case here, something pretty significant happened. He sends a guy there to watch, and that guy watches for a while, and what does he see? He sees double scanning of ballots, suitcases with election materials walking out with no one even knows who the person is that walked out with it or walked in with it. He sees an episode. There is a report of an episode. The muscle that's brought in, the people that are going to run the machines, they're observed in the elevator by an election observer, and it's reported to him that they're intending to come up and mess things up. They actually use a lot more colorful language, but we won't use that on air. You can imagine the words they might have used. But they're talking about coming in and making a mess of the election, intending to. Now, were they joking? We don't know. But I'll tell you what, when you look at the document, 29 pages of errors, mismanagement, mistakes, grotesque running of an election. It was completely chaotic.
Which raises even more questions about exactly how many people were involved in these efforts to undermine the election. Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? How many people does it take to carry out a coup against the presidency? And when all the dust settles from the audit in Arizona and the potential audits in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Wisconsin, what happens to all these people who were responsible for overthrowing the election? What are the consequences for traitors who meddled with our sacred democratic process and tried to steal power by taking away the voices of the American people? What happens to them? Well, in the past, America had a very good solution for dealing with such traitors: execution.
We have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
This transcends politics, because here you have this ape army of just everyday Americans, and they're teaching each other. They're teaching you. I mean, Brittany Avery was on. She sounded like a trader at Goldman Sachs. A woman's been in the stock since January. She's talking about dips and shoulders, and and they got naked options, and the calls are coming. I mean, I'm sitting there going, wow, I mean, this is not bad. Where did she learn it? She learned it, and they go online. They teach each other. This is a community, and I'm telling you, the Charlie Gasparino And all the Wall Street press, the Wall Street Seeking Alpha has the guy in the short position who's sweating bullets, who writes the article. They are trying to force these guys to sell for every host of reason to save a Citadel Capital and the big highly leveraged funds. And this is why it's one of the most, it's applied populism. This is not people talking about it. This is people doing it. And I'm not telling the audience to go buy the stock. What I definitely would do is seek out this community and find out more about it. You will learn more about practical finance. If you don't know anything about the stock market, if you don't know anything about economics, you don't know anything about finance, I think these people will teach you.
I am more than a stereotype. They say lesbians are good with their hands and enjoy DIY projects. Then explain why all of my coat hooks have fallen off the wall, except for one that is hanging on for dear life. Explain why my coffee table is being held together by command strips, because I put one of the pieces on backwards and cannot figure out how to undo it and re-put it together.
Wait. Are you lefty? Whoa! Oh!
Run.
Mira, está agarrando el agua porque se metan, mira. Mira. Mira.
Don't worry about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, riding bodacious, you got your 3-time world champion. Oh, this bull's getting wild. Y'all welcome Beckett Scott. Woo! He got out the pen, ladies and gentlemen. He watch out, rodeo queen. Watch out. 8 seconds. Woo!
Hello. What's up, DJ? All right. Bye.